You know well that the market environment that we're in is very difficult. Volumes are down. Technology and other budgets are tightly constrained. There's a new wave of regulatory reform that the industry is facing. We're going to dig into some of those reforms and the issue of big data and the challenges that those bring and how firms are addressing them in a little bit of a new fashion. I have two guests with me today. First, to my immediate right is Steve Crosby, a Managing Director at PwC, and next to Steve is Simon Moss, CEO of Pneuron. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by today.
Thanks.
So, you know, these issues of big data and regulatory reform, they're not unfamiliar to our audience, but I wonder, Steve, if you could kind of frame the real problem as you see them, as you're out talking to your clients.
Sure. As we look at it, part of the pattern in the problem is globally distributed data, multiple types of formats, different types of structure, lack of standards, and the ability to pull information together quickly on a cost-effective basis to deal with risk and regulatory compliance is one of the real challenges that our clients are telling us they need help with.
Okay. Now, Simon, these problems are not, I mean, they're not brand new. I mean, the industry has been facing similar issues, you know, for a long time, but there's some new thinking around how to address the problems. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about kind of a new paradigm, if you will?
Yeah, I don't think the problem statement is a new one. I think we've heard this for 20 years now, that data is distributed, that data is isolated in individual application silos, that the infrastructure that supports that data is distributed all over the place. So the problem isn't new. Unfortunately, the way we try to solve the problem isn't new either.
Yeah.
And we continue to repeat, you know, many of the very expensive, very onerous, very large systems integration, data acquisition and normalization projects that are becoming continually and even more onerous on the enterprise, particularly as regulations increase and as volumes increase.
Right.
So the way we're tackling it, and you know, we're working closely with our friends from PwC, is to really begin to get much more intelligent in the way that we're connecting those different data silos together, to be able to identify the data that is necessary and needed, rather than building a very, very large data solution before you create value. You allocate the business problem, you choose the data that's required, and you go get it, no matter where it is, no matter what technology it's on, no matter how it's represented, and no matter what application it's residing in. And that has given us a very significant opportunity to change in the historical challenges that we've had in dealing with this exponential growth in data and the distribution of that data globally.
Right. And that obviously resonates with what you guys are doing, right, Steve?
Right. As we look at it, we're working with a number of clients to help solve some of the significant challenges they've got. The first one, that is top of mind, deals with FATCA. Looking at how do you capture information around customers the information is globally distributed, it is in different formats, it comes up at different times, it is almost impossible to be able to pull it together in a cost-effective, quick, and easy fashion. One of the things that struck us about Pneuron was the ability to extract, normalize, and begin to pull together for reporting to provide senior management with a perspective on what was going on with the customer experience so that they could have an opportunity to comply with regulation and FATCA in particular.
Okay, great. Simon, anything?
No, I think that's absolutely right. If you look at Pneuron as a company, we are a technology company, we're a software company, but we don't care about technology. What we care about is the business problem. What we care about is empowering the business leader and their trusted advisors to really, who bring the experience of the systemic challenges that the market is facing, bring the experience of understanding the regulation, and give them a tool to say, okay, solve it. And solve it at a fraction of the time and the cost that you would traditionally need to engage it with.
Right.
And so we think the synthesis of the enormous experience and intellectual horsepower of PwC with Pneuron's very powerful, very unique distributed computing approach that we're bringing to market is something that's very exciting. And I think FATCA, which is astonishingly one of the biggest transformational changes in the way a financial enterprise needs to look at its customers, and yet has still not been solved, despite billions of dollars of investment into CRM systems, into KYC, into US Patriot Act, into many, many other things. can now be tackled in a different way, in a more cost-efficient way, but more importantly, in a way that you can then leverage that data, not to just do another report, another regulation, but it can form the foundation to Dodd-Frank, to new CRM approaches, to new product innovations.
Okay.
And it's that creativity and experience of how you do that,
Right.
that we believe that PwC is going to bring our technology.
Okay, very good. Well, we've been talking about a new approach to some of the challenges around big data and regulatory reform and the challenges around that, talking specifically around FATCA. And my guests today talking about that have been Steve Crosby, Managing Director at PwC, and Simon Moss, CEO of Pneuron, who have formed a strategic alliance working together to look at these problems in a new way, to really solve the business problem at the core, as opposed to spending millions and millions of dollars to put a new system in place. So gentlemen, thank you for coming by and talking about this. Pretty exciting. We've talked a lot on Tabb Forum about some of these challenges, but we really had a chance here to really dig into a real solution that the industry is looking at. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.